And I was trying to think of a seamless way to move from the metaverse to the US Postal Service, but I didn't manage to come up with one. So instead, I'm just going to try to find Ryan Patel, who is the board director and senior fellow at the Drucker School of Management, who's going to be moderating our next two panels.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, everybody. Mic's not on. There we go. How are you all doing? So we're going to make a tie here into this, so don't worry. We'll tie it to the metaverse one way or another. But please, I would love first to get Louis DeJoy come up here, the 75th United States Postal Service Postmaster General. Come on, Louis. Join me up on stage.
Thank you, Ryan. Morning, everybody, or afternoon, whatever time it is.
You don't know what time zone because you've been traveling. You want to have a seat, Louis,
Yeah.
right here?
Sure.
And actually, Louis, it's funny because we were just talking. You've been on a road show. You want to stand? You want to sit? We can do whatever we want to do.
I'll sit.
Okay, we'll
I'll
sit.
half sit. How's
Okay.
that?
You were just in the plants recently up in the Bay. Is that right?
Yeah, in the Bay and in San Jose and here too. Yeah, 12 locations.
And I'm jumping into this because we don't have that much time, and I know you've got to catch a flight right after this.
Mm-hmm.
But I want the USPS is something, in my opinion, we all can't have fail. The economy needs it. It hasn't been profitable. I mean, it's not profitable yet. It hasn't been. You've got to deliver a plan of moving forward to make sure it gets profitable here shortly. But being able to be in your headquarters a couple months ago, and I think everyone in this room can say that they've met an employee of the USPS. I think the business is around people and the workplace innovation. What have you been doing to, I guess, secure all those things together to make sure that we still have a strong system in place?
Yeah. So thank you. When you describe that, and you describe 10 years of losing almost $100 billion and running out of cash when I came in, it's a very destructive environment for employees and for the actual infrastructure that they work in. And rolling out the Delivering for America plan is about winning. It's about creating a winning strategy for the United States Postal Service, and that impacts every employee. Two groups of people were most impacted by the failures that existed over the last 10 years: the American people, in terms of the value of the Postal Service, and the employees. And the conditions of the environment of our infrastructure and so forth has been extremely impactful. Now there's an excitement in the organization. We are moving forward. We have a plan, a Delivering for America plan, and the team, and it's all about the people. It's not going to get done. It's not going to get done without our employees engaging it, and that they in fact are. I walk around. I mean, it starts with a leadership team. When I speak to the employees, I got 650,000 employees.
Let me see this.
Every location. In the United States.
I mean, $80 billion company.
$80 billion in revenue. Yeah.
In revenue, and how many?
$90 billion in cost.
And you got 650,000 employees.
650,000.
And you walk around. I mean, this is clear. This is the org chart.
Yeah.
And the fact I brought up that you're walking and meeting people is pretty much as often you can.
Very, very, very important. We have 7 unions or associations. When you think about the Postal Service, when you talk about people, for 50 years now, we have a legacy of great minority employment. We're 40% minority. 51% women in our management ranks, and taking from a carrier or a clerk up to becoming Postmaster General. And these are methodologies that the organization has had, but over the last 10 to 15 years, when you have this much destruction being done to your infrastructure and your attitude and your vision of success, which there was none. It's pretty demoralizing.
But how do you, when you talk about employee enhancement, right?
Yep.
Can you share kind of a couple of tips that maybe can transcend to others that you're doing that you feel like that focus is happening at every level?
Yeah. So, having the word innovation behind what we have to do is, 90% of our people couldn't stay home during the pandemic. They needed to go out and work in plants and so forth. And management was, tried to stay came in every day to, do that. But I think we had 45% turnover in a segment of our workforce, 200,000 people, because there was lack of a promise of career. When we've taken the workforce down, before I got it, from about 300,000 people. And and in that process, we lost that career promise, and we're reinstituting that across the organization. And that, having a career, making a career with the United States Postal Service with a good wage and a promise of a livable retirement is a seller. Right, and we're out selling that across the nation now, and living up to what we're doing. We've made new arrangements with our unions. After a certain level of apprenticeship, you're going to be guaranteed to have a job. Equipping them, every day is a heroic experience when you're not equipped to do the job. If we were firefighters, we'd send them out with water pistols right now. That's kind of how we're arranged, and we're trying to upfit every aspect of the organization.
Your organization is obviously very unique too, because I think many people that I've come across at the USPS, they've either been working there for a longer period of time, or those who want to get in. You're also hiring quite a bit right now too. Is that fair? Is it a fair statement?
We'll probably hire 150,000 people this year. 150,000 people. Over the next 10 years, I need to hire 450,000 people just to replace my attrition. So,
and what you were saying, the part of the plan to be profitable back soon in a couple of years is the infrastructure spending and the operations and finding the right talent to be able to do that. And, what are a couple of things that you can share?
Well, I think a big thing, I point to the management team, I point to the union leadership. There has been what I consider we're an operational services entity at the end of the day, right? There's been a lack of because of the immense pressure and stress put on the organization, there's been just a lack of productive collaboration between everybody, up to and including Congress and the Postal Regulatory Commission. And my big role is to point out the basic facts of what we do, the basic facts of what the conditions that we're in, and invest in it. And the employees are part of this. So they need the tools, they need the promise of a career, they need the ability to work in inhabitable places. Yeah. Right? They need vehicles that are not 30 years old to deliver. Right?
And part of that promise and tools, right? I mean, maybe some in the audience may not know. It was in March that you've got maybe potential more resources to go forward to execute on the plan that you were trying to envision. Is that?
Well, we had the unfair legislation that had to do with Medicare integration and pre-funding. That cost us was about a $50 billion forgiveness of what I felt was unfair legislation. It was a liability we shouldn't have had, and it was the beginning of putting the organization into turmoil. So we got that passed, and
so you got that passed.
Yeah.
You've got the resources and tools. I know you told me in private and publicly too that the plans that you put in place, especially around the people and building the organization out, that you see is it a light coming out the end of the tunnel? What is it that you see that's coming up for the organization?
We had a $160 billion loss. Now we're looking at 70 or 80, and we have a line of sight, to get to that, and we're going to improve in growth. We have new marketing strategies, but all of these things involve a collaboration between our union leadership, between all our areas, different types of geographical personalities,
yeah.
and so forth. And we are really pushing the whole leadership team to rally around what's in the Delivering for America plan, which is to deliver 163 million addresses 6 days a week and cover our costs and produce productive long-term employment for our people. Our people are when you think about everything, all the billions of pieces of everything that we move, there's a postal worker's hand that touches it at least twice, and in some cases more than they should when you're moving packages by hand, and so forth. So we're investing in improving.
Well, you were just, if you don't mind, I know we didn't chat about this, but you were just like I said, in the plants, talking to the workers, anything that you can share to this audience that you can maybe an interaction
Well,
that
I
stood out to you?
think that, we have a little bit different, we have a different environment and a different condition than most in modern businesses, technology businesses and so forth. I think this organization is, the employees are pretty jazzed up that, we have a voice again. We have a strategy, and we're pushing forward. We're investing. They see the equipment come in. They see the new operational precision we're trying to design. And people would rather work in that type of environment than a haphazard, losing environment. And there's a lot of excitement. I get, and my leadership team, when we go out into the plants, there's a lot of interest. There's a lot of discussion, and they're happy that who doesn't want to be on a winning team? Right, and the Postal Service hasn't been there in 15 years, and now we're starting to, turn that, that position around. And there's plenty of competent people within the organization in every aspect. I was overwhelmed by the technical competence and the commitment to mission of everybody within the organization. It is deep, it is broad. So I really focus on organizing them, pointing in a direction, and fighting for them, and they take care of everything else falls in place. And it's the power. I tell them it's the power of us now. We got the legislation out of the way, right? That was a big administrative thing. It's all within our reach right now, and we're in a competitive business. The only way we succeed is by getting more package volume, right, and move it with the mail. So use us during Christmas, please.
Oh, you guys didn't think there was a pitch there? Did you not hear what he just said? You got to use them. I like it.
And we're also going to be, we're going to every house every day anyway. So if you're looking to reduce your carbon footprint, that's a way to do it too, because we're going there anyway. But everybody's rallying around that, and the employee base enjoys this.
What do you think that the employee? So if we looked at in 2 years, let's say 2 years,
Yeah.
2 years, the future of the employee. If you could describe what that employee will look like. Oh, you already know what I'm going to go.
Yeah. So I mean, I think that we have a broad. Everything about us is anything that you think is broad in your world, like triple it. And that's the Postal Service, types of people, where they are, types of professionals that we have, and so forth. So I see, number one, we have to create stability. We have to create stability in that pre-career workforce to become entry level so that they too feel when they walk in the door, they have a chance to move up. We go back to the old way, all the way up the old way.
That's feedback you've gotten.
And that's a promise I made when all you got to do is look at it and see how it was fracturing the organization when I first came in. That's a promise myself and the Deputy Postmaster General, who was in fact our labor. He was the head of our labor. He was like 2 or 3 levels down. I made him Deputy Postmaster General. Very, very important. I've taken 2 of our HR. I took one of our HR director, made him head of operations, right? Because that relationship with the employees and the stress of the environment needed to be managed differently, and we're doing. But what do I see in the future? I see people that are very proud of their organization and how they serve the American people. Okay, now there's a lot that has to come together in that, but this is baseline work. I mean, we have not kept up with the Joneses, right? And it's part of what we do. And along the way, we have a pretty exciting outcome that I envision, where postmasters are leaders of commerce in their communities. You get precise, delivery. When your carriers come, a lot of technology. We are very advanced in technology. It just was rarely applied to the function of delivering. And we use it if anybody got test kits for the Biden administration's rollout of test kits.
How many did you deliver?
Oh,
you remember the number?
Probably 150 million households. 150 million households right now. Average delivery less 1.2 days.
I remember we chatted close to the beginning of the year, and you were
telling me
how.
And it was such a proud thing for the organization. And I never underestimate the power of having a good mission, a strategy for your, vision for your future, a strategy and executing on it. No matter how many mistakes you make, if you bring it's something to bring people along with. And I think that's what was, missing. We have all, the Postal Service was it was people came out of, certain types of neighborhoods and so forth, and got a job as a postmaster, and moved their way up to a supervisor, and then to a manager, and eventually into the organization sometime in IT or customer service or something. We're excellent on that. But if you're falling off a cliff, it's hard to deploy, consistently, and that's what we're trying to focus on. So, and that's what matters most to us right now. Everything else will fall in place.
Well, it's funny because we're talking about people, and I don't know that rolling out the test kits. I know that was a conversation you and I had beginning of the year. How I don't say you said this, but to some it could have been. It's a jolt in the system to all of a sudden put that many packages out. Can you walk through kind of the people aspect of something, what goes on around getting everyone rallied, making sure everyone has the right empowerment to do that?
We have a very broad organization. I broke it up to have 16 direct reports, cradle to grave. We got a call from the White House 3 days before Christmas. Can you do this? And we defined what we would do. And within 3 weeks, we put together an organization that took in about a website that took in about 30 million orders in 6 hours, distributed across the country to 50 plants, where we had inventory. We picked and packed and shipped 3 million orders a day. That is pretty big, and we put it together in 3 weeks. Probably 6,000 or 7,000 workers in the plants.
You were telling me about the people. You told me about some of the people, right?
Several hundred logisticians. A big chunk of our IT, department focused on it. Many of these things we made from scratch in 3 weeks, and it's still going on today. We're still, delivering various things around the country. Excellent, performance. Well over $1 billion in revenue for the organization, and this is what I mean about mission. When you have that mission and that operational precision that needed to be deployed in a short, standpoint, and everybody in the organization's taking credit for it. The unions, the IT department, everybody around the organization is taking credit. That's what you need in a successful mission. Everybody taking credit for what you.
Well, I'm going to stop you because that story when we spoke at you gave credit. There was, I think, forget who it was, and forgive me. They're like, he called you and goes, "Hey, we got this," because you were asking the question, "Could we even do this?"
Yeah.
And it was someone from your team going, "No, we can make this work."
Yeah.
And that was when you decided that you could do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that story or not that you told me.
Well, I mean, we don't need it. It got done, right? How it got.
My purpose why I'm bringing this up is I think it ties into here's a challenge, and you've got the team telling you. You built enough of a culture for the future, because in the future you need more people like that to be able to say, "Hey, we can make this done. We'll figure it out and how to get it done."
So that's a good point. In the beginning, and it shows you the consequences. In the beginning, it wasn't like that, right? And nobody really thought they could. The only person who could pull that off was the United States Postal Service in that amount of time. So there was a great deal of hesitancy. We had to do it. It was a public service mission, and we were aligned to do it, and we did it. And that changed attitudes. A couple of months later, we had a different part of that mission, and the team. I was like, I was questioning whether we should do it, and the team was championing that we had the skill set and ready to go and do it, and we in fact went ahead and did it, and that's really what I'm trying to bring to the organization, a sense of accomplishment, because nothing can fall in place if you feel like you're losing. No matter how good the idea is, right? And now we're feeling like we're winning, and a lot of things take, coming in and working. And, we have huge financial, we still got to take cost out of the system, and we got to do it in an employee-friendly way. I make $2 billion decisions, several times a week on things, and all of it affects people because it's 80% of our budget. Is people. We have if we have 80 billion and 90 billion in cost, it's 60 billion in wages, 60 billion in wages in benefits.
And I know we've got 1 minute left, and I know you've got a plane to catch, and want to make sure you get you here out on time. So we, those who know me, those who follow me, know we're gonna have to play this Ryan's lightning round. Follows me unfortunately everywhere we go. So one word or one sentence. You ready? You sure?
Let's go.
Okay, we're going. Workplace innovation is blank.
And success. everything in business needs to lead to success, and that is how I look at everything. Innovation needs to be able to be applied, needs to be able to be understood, especially in my business, where it's about delivering mail and packages, it's about physical distribution. And we need to have success. I always evaluate, are we going to have a successful outcome of this?
Yeah.
And then we go for it. If not, then we look away. And innovation, it is a very innovative place. It always has been. I have a list of, when I came in, I had a list of innovative things that either didn't get done or failed because there was just no way to move it forward. And I think we need to, at our organization, we need to look at the tangibility. We are a very, very equitable and employee-oriented organization, and so is our service. We deliver to 163 million addresses. No matter where they are, we're going there. No matter who lives there, we're going there 6 days a week. You look at how we've moved people through the organization, how we've trained people in the past. All of it was beginning to be for not, because the organization was not moving forward in the marketplace. And now it is. I am very confident all those great aspects of the organization will in fact be deployed and gain back its inertia as we're successful. So that's what I wake up every morning thinking about. How does our business model work so all the other great features and innovation can get deployed, right? And
I think I appreciate your candor, and obviously you put yourself out there to. We're going to be enjoying watching the progress you continue to make for all of us and for the economy. So hopefully we'll get to see more stories from you, and really do appreciate you coming.
Not going to come unless you ship via the U.S. Postal Service. All right? So, thank you.
Thank you, Louis.
Okay.
Appreciate it.